They're always fun, aren't they? I enjoy them. The best is whenever you have to go someplace and you have to like listen to Scotty talk, and then I have to then interject and say things, and I'm like, Scotty didn't say that. I was like, Scotty didn't say that. We're not doing that. But no, he's great. We love them. SI is something where I hope that you guys don't have to see them in your county, but they are a resource. So if they do show up, they're asking questions for valid reasons. But if you guys ever have concerns, I do have this come up quite frequently. If for some reason someone shows up in your office and it's not a normal field examiner that you normally do see, you can reach out to Mike or I if you feel like to confirm who they are. Because sometimes we have field examiners or individuals from SI that do show up and you guys are hesitant about giving them records. It's a completely valid thing to check with us to see if they have been assigned there or if we're aware that that person is there. So I would always just say, I would recommend doing that if you feel like, I don't want to give you my records. I don't necessarily know you. And if they say that there was special investigations, you just want to confirm sometimes. Again, you don't want any of that information to get out there. Does anyone need the QR code? I'm taking your silence as a no. Okay. Should I put it up there? You've all signed in? Okay, I'll put it up there. And then I promise I will show you pictures. We're running ahead of time. So I will show you some pictures of my sweet baby. And don't forget, we end today at 3. You guys have association meeting, right, Jen? Okay. Do you have any announcements? Okay, nothing right now? Okay. There are no breaks. So if you need to get up, go to the bathroom, feel free to do that. While we're going through that, let me know when you're done scanning and we will go from there. You good? Okay. Okie dokie. Let me pull up my present. What are we talking? Oh, I don't have a presentation for this. I was going, oh, did I not prepare one? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a walkthrough of our website because we have hidden so many things. You're welcome. So we're going to do a walkthrough of the website. You guys don't want me to just give you pictures of the website. You guys want to do walkthroughs. So that's what I planned on doing. That's why I have my little handy dandy outline. So I do not need to pull up anything. If someone else needs a QR code, please flag me down before 3 o'clock. Let me see. Did I tell you last year that I was, what I was for Halloween? I told you guys, right? A banana. Okay. Did I tell you the fun story where I surprised my son being a banana? So I did tell you guys. Okay. Well, I just want you to know that the infatuation with gorillas still is strong. So, this is him at, oh, darn it. Sorry, one moment. It converted on me. Back to extend. Duplicate. Keep. I was wondering why you guys weren't going, aww, because the photo was up there, and I'm like, he's still cute. I know you guys thought he was cute yesterday. Okay. So we traveled to the Columbus Zoo, which is a really great zoo. We spent all day there, and it's literally the worst photo of him, but I was like, he's with the gorilla. One day I know he won't want me showing photos of him to just strangers, but until then, we're just going to keep doing this. So he still loves gorillas. And I did want to tell you guys that, you guys remember me talking about Daddy Gorilla? The gorilla that, okay. Thankfully, we're not into, we don't carry Daddy around. So whenever we lose him, I now don't have to go, where's Daddy? And look for him, because that is the weirdest thing to do in public. And people are like, that's super strange. Like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, not his daddy, Daddy Gorilla. He's like, DA big, this big. And someone actually said last conference that they would go purchase me one if I lost him. Well, Daddy Gorilla still lives on in our house. But he's not, we don't sleep with him every night now. We have new infatuations. So this is him with his little bubble blower. He loves to dress himself now. It's probably like my favorite thing, but We still wear a gorilla costume out. I want you to know that he chose to wear his gorilla costume to swim class in January. And my husband was like, "Are you going to let that fly?" And I said, "It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday. Are you going to stop him?" Because I was like, "I'm not wanting to fight right now." And he was like, "Okay, fair. He can wear it." We showed up in swim. He was a gorilla. Everyone thought it was adorable. And I was like, we're making money off this costume at this point. So, kudos to us. Good investment. Let me see what other photos I have of him. Oh, Mother's Day. Mother's Day, he made us shirts that matched. And we got to go out in public, and he thought that was the coolest thing. And he point to people and go, "Look at Mama's shirt." And I was like, "Yeah, look at it." And then he was like, "I don't like mine anymore," and took it off midday. And I was like, "Fine, I'm going to keep wearing mine." But because that's a gift you gave me. Let me see what else I have. Oh, him on his tricycle. This to me is the most grown up he's looked. And he got a fresh haircut, and he hates getting haircuts. But, he's styling here. He's got his sunnies, all the things. We're really into Gravedigger right now. And I was telling someone earlier, they were like, "Oh, yeah, I know he was into gorillas. What's his new thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, they do go through stages." I was like, "We're really into monster trucks and werewolves." And they were like, "Werewolves?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a thing." And I don't know how to explain it. But so whenever you guys remember the really bad snowstorm that we had and AIC was moved, Mike called me that day because we needed to talk about, "Hey, AIC's moved. What are we going to do?" Marshall literally takes the phone from me and goes, "Who are you talking to?" And I go, "Michael." "Who?" And I'm like, "You don't know him." And he's like, "Give me the phone." And so I put it on speakerphone, and I'm like, "Okay, you don't know him. What are you going to ask him?" And he's like, "You buy me werewolf?" Because I had said no that morning. And so Mike is first interaction with my child is him going, "You buy me this?" And Mike's like, "I don't know." "No, I know." And I go, "It's $115. We're not buying it." And I was like, "And Michael's not buying it for you." And so, yeah, we're really into werewolves, and I have to pull off a werewolf birthday party in September. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'll keep you posted. In October. If I have any photos, I will let you know. Oh, there's the banana one. It's so funny because I forget who I told that that's what I was for Halloween, and they were like, "Can we have that banana photo?" And I'm like, "No, not personally, because I know what you're going to do with it, and I'm not giving that to you." This is him as Spider-Man. We're really into superheroes, because obviously, where do you find werewolf things? Because he's like, "That's not real. I want to look like a real werewolf." And I'm like, "I can't do that for you." So, sorry. Hold on. I got 2 more. Because do we want to do what? Okay. I'm the mother that lets my child play Terminator. It's fun, okay? We were shooting cyborgs, and we were having a blast. He's having so much fun. Chuck E. Cheese. I can't remember the last time I've been in a Chuck E. Cheese, but I had surprisingly a good amount of fun. And he keeps asking to go back, and I'm like, "Yeah, we'll go back." Yeah. Because I would sit him, so I scooted a chair over, and there's 2 little guns that are shooting at the screen, and so I put a chair there, but I only pay for me, but he thinks he's winning, and I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, you're doing great." And so he's just like, "I won." And I'm like, "Yeah, we killed all the cyborgs." We did it. So, no. I just have way too much fun. So I get why everyone's like, "Are you going to have more?" No, not. No, there's a suction cup one. You guys can laugh at me again if you'd like. Okay. So let's see. Let me pull up the website because that's where I want to start. So through this, we had questions when we were doing conference planning about SBOA resources. And knowing that our website was going to change and with ADA compliance, I kind of wanted to do a complete new walkthrough. And then something else that someone had asked was a walkthrough of the IGA's website. How familiar are we with the Indiana General Assembly website? Do we know how to use it? We can know where it's at, but I don't really use it frequently because if you guys are interested, I have that as the end. And I can do a walkthrough on how to find bills, how to look through legislation, things like that. Is that something that you guys want to spend time on? Okay. Chris is like, yes. And so, you know what, Chris, you get what you want. I'm going to go through that. Okay. So, first step, we're going to go to our website, audit reports. How many of you actually keep the printed audit reports that you get at Exit? Do a lot of you still keep those? Okay, some people are like, I don't keep those. I'm just going to retain the one that's on the website because it's there. It's a public depository for those audit reports. That's where I'm going to go find it. That is the very first thing that you see when you open up our website. And I think a lot of people sometimes look past it because, you know, once you go to a website so many times, or if you bookmark a different page, you're not going to see that. Does anyone not know how to work our audit reports? Because if you have lost your audit report, you can search by county, you can search by unit type, which is just normally what I do. You can search by audit type, federal, non-federal, things to that effect. So I just did a quick county search. It always puts them in the order of their last filing date, I believe. I don't know if I make it smaller, will you guys see it? Is it hard to see right now? Okay. I was thinking about making it a little bit smaller because you can't see all the columns. Because it has like the report date off to the side. Okay. So this is typically where I come. You can filter all of these, but right now it's filtered by the last reports that were uploaded. So this is the report dates that it's filtered by, I believe. And then if you wanted to filter by audit type, typically you guys will have either federal, non-federal. You'll see supplementals. That's where your audit reports are. And then you will also see those SLFRF compliance. So if you still are a county that most of your federal funds are ARPA funds, you could be receiving a SLFRF audit for ARPA, where we audit those federal monies. However, you guys will receive a non-federal audit because those are the only monies that are federal. Those bigger counties, you guys will probably require to have one yearly. So if you're over the $1 million, again, that's the big change there for federal monies. So if you ever need to find your audit report, here it is. And if you guys ever, again, most of you are not new auditors, but I would like to remind you that if you do not remember what your comments were from your last audit and you can't find the paper copy, you can pull up Carroll County. I'm sorry, I'm going to click this because it's the first supplemental I see. We're not picking on them, okay? I just want to show you because the supplemental audit reports are where we will find the comments that appear in the public report. So when we talk about audit result and comments, those are these are the comments that we're talking about. Those are public comments that appear in the audit report. Management letters like Ed and Scotty discussed, those are not in here. They're not on here. Neither are verbal comments, okay? So this kind of just tells you like, hey, did my office have any audit result and comments? Yes or no? Then you can go through and read these, but your supplemental audit report will be where all of your findings are, okay? Let's see. There's some just so non-federal audits, things like that. So you could possibly have 3 audit reports if you have a federal audit. You will have a federal audit report, supplemental, and then you'll have the financial audit report, okay? So, easy. Now we know where audit reports are. The next thing that Ed and Scotty were continually talking about, and I loved that they kept talking about it, is the reporting of fraud. So to report fraud, it's on our website in multiple places. And the reason that you guys are required to report any known fraud is under 511-127J. It talks about the reporting of any miscellaneous or erroneous losses to the county, things like that. And to do that, you click here. And this is the form that they kept talking about, okay? So I think, like they said, if it's a county report under this, Ed is CC'd on the email, county's inbox is CC'd on the email, and then it goes to, I think, someone else in our office. But most of the time, whenever someone submits one of these forms to us, Ed and I both have to look at them, read them, determine if it's something that I'm going to add to look at during audit, or if it's something that I just say, hey, Ed, this seems odd. Do you guys want to do an assessment? So this is the starting point from basically an easy way if you guys can't remember our email addresses, or if there's someone from the public wanting to report something, or if you want to do it anonymously, that is totally fine. You can fill out this name and put anonymous and make up a fake email address. That's fine. You can submit it completely anonymous, especially if there's something that you don't want any blowback on at the county level. Because again, I know that there's some audits where there are some, I'm just going to say people, not going to classify anybody, but people who are mad at the elected officials and want to continue to put false reports in, okay? They use this portal most of the time, and sometimes it will slow down the audit process as we get things like this because we add them to the data file. So if we determine that it's something that could have some standing, like they have reasonable suspicion to believe the easiest one, misuse of credit cards or misuse of public funds, and they give us something so where we can try and investigate it, we can look into it. However, some of these comments, like they were saying, are very vague, hearsay, like, oh, I heard so-and-so takes money. Oh, okay. That was a lot of information. Let me data file that away. And typically I just am like, I don't have anything. That told me nothing. You didn't tell me what office. You told me someone's taking money. You didn't allude to who. I can't do anything with that. So if there's, for any reason, the thing I want to say is, again, citizens and other people from departments, if they have grudges, sometimes we get those. Sometimes they're completely off the wall, they're not valid, but sometimes they do hold some validity. And in those cases, again, we look into them and we determine what we need to do going forward. But if you guys ever come across anything like where you have, I think there's been lots recently of checks that are being, what's the right word? Washed and like other names being put on it. It's one of those things where you don't expect it to still be happening, but people's checks are being intercepted and their checks are being cleaned, new information put on them, and cashed. And again, what are you going to do when that happens? Someone intercepted the check that you wrote and said, because you didn't send an EFT. So it's not something in a sense that's your fault because you were just sending it to somebody. Someone else intercepted your check. You don't know until the check is cashed that someone didn't get payment for something, and you go back and you look at that optical image on that check and someone else cashed it, and you see that that's not who you made it out to. That's still happening, and I want to say, I think several clerks that's actually happened to quite frequently lately. So when there's stuff like that happens, that's considered a loss to the unit because they cashed the check. It didn't go where it was intended. Things like that do need to be reported to us. And one of the things that I'd like to point out, like when you pull up 511-127, it's a very long statute, and it goes through what you need to do as the official and how you need to report that. The first one being you report it to us, you report it to the prosecutor, and then you also file an official report and start having either the sheriffs or local police start to look into it. That's something that is set out in statute, so you just need to make sure that you follow through with those steps because, oh, hold on, I'm gonna come to you. I don't know where Michael went. You go, oh, there you are. Okay, but no, my thought to just finish it, you just want to make sure that you report those things to us, you follow that Indiana code, and if there is for any reason something that, like, you get the money back, please follow up and let us know because I'm going to have to data file all of those things, and we're going to follow up on it during audit because it is a loss to the unit. So I just want to make you guys aware of that.
Okay, so the situation that we had was we had a vendor that, didn't get a check. And when they notified us, we went to check with the treasurer, and they had stopped a check because it had the correct check number. So I don't think they ever used the check, but they must have saw the check and used that information to create a new one. And they tried to put it through. The treasurer blocked that. They refused that. Yes, we use positive pay. Yeah, so in that situation, we wouldn't have to report that, right? Because we didn't lose it. Okay.
Yep, you caught it before you lost it. And I think that's the thing that I wanted to kind of make sense of, is because this can be confusing. So whenever we think of something that's actually a loss to the unit, did money actually get intercepted? If so, did you completely lose it? Or in that instance, did positive pay catch it? Somebody else catch it? Did the bank catch it, not process it? So we need to consider those things. If there is no actual loss to the unit, then we don't need to be aware. Did I say that right? I think I did. Okay. Yes, and most do. Yes. So you do have to report it because it was a loss, but in that same reporting, because did it happen in like the same couple of hours, couple of days? Okay, whenever it happens, and when you're supposed to notify us when it happens. If you don't catch it when it happens and you catch it at the end and you already got the money back, I would suggest then that you tell us everything that happened all at one time. So then that way we have the beginning that there was a loss, and at the end, and Jackie's pushing me over here. So then we have the whole story. Then that way, whenever you tell me, I can then file it away and we're good to go, okay? Because we like to know, because most of the time I'll be like, hey, make sure that you contact the prosecutor if it just happened, or if you have not filed the police report, please let us know. And sometimes, again, you guys are busy. So if it's a couple months after it happens and you finally like get the funds back, or if you don't, and they've closed the case and you're not gonna get the money back, give me a heads up. That way I can add it to the data file, because they're gonna ask you during the next engagement anyway. Okay, do we want to talk about any more on losses? I think sometimes we have questions. Are we doing this? Do we know where this was to be found on our website? Or do you guys just rely on sending me emails? Because if you guys want to do it via email, that's totally good with me. I just need to be able to see documentation of when you did it. Jackie, she's all the way in the back. Chris. Yes.
She wants to see where you found it.
Yes. So I'm going to go back to our main page. So when you are here, when you go to sboa.in.gov and you scroll down, there's a report government fraud, and you just click here. Then this is where it talks about the form and the applicability. Then you click here to make a report. And I want to say there's multiple places on our page that you can find this. So let me just go back. This is just easier. sboa.in.gov. Okay, it's also on the county's page. And there's the little subscription button again. You can find the little subscription button all over our website. So I wanted to point that out to you guys, because please, please, please subscribe. At the bottom of the county's page, it's all by its own section, report under 511-127. Anytime you see 511-127 on our website, it will have to do with your responsibilities under it and have a link to the form. So this should take you, it opens and you can literally click here to report and get you back to the exact same place. Good? Okay. Now don't report like, oh, well, Sandy stole water. Please don't do that. Because you know what I'm going to do? File away. I'm like, did she steal it or did you give it to her? Are we just mad at Sandy? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry for any Sandys in the room. I'm not saying you're stealing. I didn't even think. It's probably because Sandy talked to me before lunch, and now I'm just like, she's a thief. No. Just kidding. I'm like Scott. I'm just as bad as Scotty, am I not? And then I'm hurt whenever you said that Scotty's your favorite presenter. That hurt my feelings. Just so you know, I'm going to remember that. Next time you call, I'm not picking up. I'll be like, oh, yeah? Call Scotty. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be like, can Scotty tell you where to put the money? Probably not. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he might.
He might. He'll be like, would you like to contribute to my campaign fund? He'll be like, hold on. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let me see. Okay, so this is the main web page. There are some additional things under here. To me, they're not as important as the things that I've kind of discussed with you. A picture of Paul. If you'd like to see Paul, he's down there. But I want to get to the other things that I'm like, it's been a minute since we've talked about this. So let's talk about unauditable entities. Did you know there's a place on our website for that? I've touched on it briefly, but if we declare an entity unauditable, so that's in 51119B, and we can't audit them, we have to now put it on our website and declare you unauditable, okay? It typically only arises when the auditor and treasurer are not maintaining either of their records. I'm not going to say it's one office or the other because I've seen both instances. But most of the time, either something's not being posted to the cash book or something's not being posted to the funds ledger. And there is a huge discrepancy between treasurer and auditor. That's why reconciling is so incredibly important. And when we find out that these records are so out of date, and we cannot verify the numbers on your financial statements, that's when you become unauditable. We will give you, that 90 days to try and become auditable. Within those 90 days, that's a lot of work. So if there's stuff that's not being posted to the cash book, but being posted to the funds ledger, still, you're not gonna reconcile. So you guys are gonna be off. Fixing sometimes things to that nature can take months to figure out what got posted and what didn't get posted. So whenever we stand up here and we talk to you guys about how reconciling is so incredibly important, I don't want to see you guys being declared unauditable, okay? Because sometimes you can't even provide records. Like for smaller units, it could be that they can't provide records at all, and they're declared unauditable. And then they have to then, in a sense, produce records. You guys aren't in that bubble. But for those smaller units, like townships and special districts and things like that, those could be the cases to where there's nothing to audit, therefore we have to declare you unauditable. Whenever it becomes a county that is declared unauditable, I think the most common thing that I'm asked regarding that is, well, what does that mean for me? Well, you're placed on this list. Do you have a good bond rating currently? It's not going to be good anymore. You're not going to be able to get debt, and you aren't going to be able to it's just going to snowball. Because the second you become unauditable and you don't get a yearly audit so that your bond rating stays in check, you guys can, because you guys always submit those yearly audit reports, do you not? To make sure that, hey, whenever I need to renew my bonds, things like that. Or, hey, I want a new construction project. Whenever we want new construction, things like that, they're like, well, I need to see your last audit report. We need to see like where you're at, where you are financially. Well, if you can't produce those things and you're like, well, I was declared unauditable, but you could look at the prior year's one, and then they're like, whoa, 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 what was that? Like, you're on a list? Please don't make the list, because the second that you guys make the list and you guys appear here, then I get calls, and then I'm like, okay, and then people ask about it because it's public information. And I think one of the other questions that people did have was, well, who's going to find out at the county? Well, your commissioners, when they want to enter into agreements and build things, they're going to be like, why are you not doing your job? This is where it could go. It could potentially be bad. Right now, we don't have any that are declared unauditable. So that's why I just urge you guys to be aware that this is something that could happen, But it's not going to happen to you guys, right? Because you're amazing. You're shining stars. And we're going to reconcile with our treasurers, and we're going to make sure that we don't get on this list. I want it to be other units, okay? Not you guys. No counties. So I wanted to make you guys aware that that is something that could happen, but it's not going to happen to you guys. Okay. And you guys also know, because I harp on you, state called conference attendance. This is why I tell you to scan the QR codes, okay? Because your conference attendance is available now on our website, and it's been available since 2024, okay? So whenever you guys are required to attend a State Board of Accounts conference once every 2 years. And then you guys also have training requirements under the auditor section in statute that detail out how many hours of training you need, like the first year and then the third year, okay? The number of hours that you're to receive. So what we do on here is we certify every single state called conference, and if you guys attended our conference, that's all that it's saying. So if for some reason you could only come one of the 3 days and you scanned the QR code, you attended conference. You were here 1 day, but you were here. So on my list, I just only put the elected officials. This does not include deputies or anyone else that they bring to office. This is just for those elected officials. We list them on our website, okay? And most of the time, this is only, really, I'm gonna say used during election years, okay? Because this is a statutory requirement. You are required to attend our conferences. We certify it, we put it on the website. We say how many hours you attended. You keep those for your files, but this is if you attended a State Board of Accounts conference once every 2 years, okay? So we put that on our website to show that you guys were in attendance, okay? So if you attended all 3 days, your name's only gonna be on there one time because you attended all 3 days. If you attended 1 day, you attended conference. So your name will be on there. Your name will only be on there once, okay? So if there's forever a reason you guys got certification letters, but you notice your name's not on the list, please let me know. Because this is something that we use. So Shelby, that Paul introduced the first day, she's one of our associate directors that are working with us. She now sends out your guys' certification. So I'm going to give her the QR code lists. I'm going to tell her to create this document, send out the certification letters with the number of hours that you attended conference. And so she's going to be preparing a lot of this stuff. I'm going to be reviewing it. But I want you guys to be aware that if you think, like, you got a certification letter and you know you were there, but your name's not on here, it could have been an oversight. So please just reach out to me because I want these documents to be correct, okay? I used to prepare them. Now this is something that we've delegated to her to do. So does anyone have questions on this? You all certified your number of hours for last year, right? Yes, Stacy. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Because if
Okay.
you haven't, please do it. Yes, Jackie?
I'm going to interject here
Yeah.
if I might, because I think there's a lot of confusion about what hours you track, what hours they are to track, the elected official tracks, and what hours the Association of Indiana Counties tracks.
Yes.
Because at the beginning of the year, will get bombarded, not just from auditors, from all elected officials on
Yeah.
how many training hours did I have last year. The Association of Indiana Counties only tracks anything that is our event, which is an Association of Indiana Counties event, not a State Board of Accounts event, or your district meetings that are called. So if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's your responsibility to track the hours that is certified to you from the Board of Accounts.
Yes.
Now, if it is a non-Board of Accounts called meeting, such as your North District, that's not called, the officers get that agenda approved through the AIC Training Committee. It then goes to the Board of Accounts for their final approval for the number of hours. And then your officers should let you know at that meeting how many hours, if you attended, that agenda is eligible for. But that's your responsibility to keep those. You can call me anytime, and I'm glad to give you the AIC hours, but I can't give you the State Board of Accounts or the non-State Board of Accounts meetings that you go to.
Yes, no, and I agree with Jackie, and I'm glad she brought it up because vice versa. I can't tell you what AIC hours you received. That's why I normally send you to Jackie and say, if you attended AIC classes, you're going to have to ask her. I don't have those information. And the same with the agendas. I can go back through because since we approved those agendas, I can go back through my inbox, see what Jackie sent me, and I can say, yeah, I see that. However, Jackie probably has if I did approve that because, you know, things get lost in my inbox. So most of the time, Jackie, if it's run through us and approved, she will be able to tell you if it was an approved conference and how much hours, okay? So that's why it's so important whenever we send you those certification letters that you retain those for your document so that at the end of the year or at the beginning of the next, when you're filling out these certifications, that you at least have a list of what conferences you did attend. We can always send them out again to you. I just have to go dig through a folder digitally. I don't dig through actual paper. There's only one cabinet I dig through, and it's our prescribed forms, and the smell of those forms, yeah. Okay? So these are all digital, but I do have to go look and find you on what days and everything like that. And I can send them to you, but it might take me a minute, or it might be something that Shelby, I assign her to do. So thank you for bringing that up, Jackie. I appreciate it. There's tons of confusion on that, and it's not just you guys. It's literally every association, I want to say. Because it's something that you guys know, like, I went to something, but what was it? Because sometimes, again, you'll see Jackie at events that aren't AIC events, and you'll see me at things that are not State Board of Accounts events. And you're like, who certifies it? And it's totally valid question to ask. And I don't think that's a stupid question either, because I don't remember what I did last year. I was like, I know I went to stuff. And they're like, well, we saw you in July. Like, I think Tony brought that up to me. He goes, well, last July. And I was like, we don't have anything for you guys in July. And I was like, oh, your North-South meeting. Yeah, I was there, wasn't I? I was like, what did I talk about there? And he's like, you just did a Q&A. And I go, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like something I would have done. But okay, so we got state called conferences. We got that ironed out. Now I want to go to the resource library. So this has changed because we've taken some stuff down that we used to have on there, but I want to go through the highlights. So you will notice with ADA compliance, we have these new folders that are called archived bulletins and archive training and presentations. So if there is something old, such as a presentation or a bulletin that you are looking for, apparently with ADA compliance, and I say apparently because I know nothing about this, I only know what's told to me, is that if it's not a machine-readable document, by a certain date, it has to be archived and labeled as archived and not machine-readable, okay? So what our communications person had to do with this is she had to scour the entire website, figure out what on earth is ADA compliant and what's not, and try and get us in compliance, because IoT has severely cracked down on us and like basically rates our websites and tells us how in compliance we are, which is good or bad, and they do green and red. And like green, you have to be like 98.9% compliant. Like we just got there because we had so many things that were not machine readable, and that's a big issue. So with this push, we've had to like move a whole bunch of stuff around. So the first one I want to go through is archived bulletins. So they have all been taken down and put into this archive section. You have to click counties, and this is where they now live, okay? So the archive county bulletins are here. You will notice there's only 5 years worth of information. Okay, I have the other 5 years. They're tucked away in an electronic folder. So if there is something that you need, that you remember seeing in a county bulletin, but you cannot locate, please send me or Mike an email and say, hey, because you can use the index. We're working on updating this index, okay? But this index has the last 10 years worth of bulletins. So if you search for a topic, which I want to say pretrial diversion. So this one, it's volume 399. I can tell you that that one is not on the website anymore. It's been taken down. If you want to see what that bulletin article said, I think this one was almost 10 years ago, I will have to go pull that volume, snip it to you, and send it because it's not available on our website. There were decisions made above me that we don't need 10 years worth of bulletins. We're only going to put 5 out. However, Mike and I are going through those last 5 years that have been on the website and trying to determine what you guys still need, because there's 5 years worth of information that how many of you use our bulletins and still use them as resources? You guys are looking for those things and you're like, there's guidance. I've seen this somewhere. Where did I see it? So Mike and I, our plan is to go through the last 5 years worth of bulletins, pull everything we feel is pertinent and actually provides SBOA guidance, and start issuing them in new bulletins this year, okay? So you might see some stuff that you saw a couple years ago that's maybe between that 5 and 8, the 5 and 10 year mark, that you're like, I thought I saw that not too long ago. Well, it's not on our website anymore. So we're gonna try to bring those back up to date. But the index is a great resource, and we're gonna plan on updating that as well so that you guys have a index that has the 5 years. Any questions on county bulletins? This section does not have 2026. So 2026 bulletins are still on your main counties page, and I'll show you those in a minute, but I want to go through the resource library first. Presentations and training materials. So, lost my little scrolly. Okay, this one's a very long page, so you guys will have to, auditors, bear with me. You have to expand it. There's the link to our YouTube channel. I think the link to our YouTube channel had to be taken off of all of our other current pages that are ADA compliant and shoved in an archive section. It has something to do with the link. Apparently you can't link to other websites. I don't know, that could be a lie, but that's what I was told by our communications person. So I was like, what if they can't find me on YouTube and they want to see me? Because I know you guys look for me, okay? You can go here and there's a link to our YouTube channel. You can open it. You can view any of those old recordings that we have, like the election payroll one. I know if you guys missed that one in March, that's a hot topic one. So if you want to go back and watch that video, then it's on our YouTube channel, okay? That's how we're going to be getting you guys those recordings, is they have to live on YouTube and we just have to link to them, okay? I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. But we have all the presentations from last year. I want to say we have like 10 years worth of trainings. Let's see where it ends. Like, we have Lori stuff on here, okay? We have Stephanie Heath stuff. Let me see what other stuff we have. See, I think we have over 10, okay. We have almost 10 years worth of presentations on here. So if there is something that you guys are like, I can't find any guidance on it, however, you can find a presentation, you're more than welcome to go here, look for it, and pull it up. Does anyone have questions on presentation and training materials? I know it's a headache that our current ones aren't on the website, but Jen and I talked earlier and she said that she's linking all the presentations on the association's webpage. So that might be a place where they live. It's just on the association's webpage. I think that's a good alternative idea so that you guys can find them posted somewhere if for some reason you miss the communication with them all being sent. So I did send Jen 2 of Michael's presentations from yesterday and an update to Ed and Scotty's presentation today. She said she'll post those on the website for you guys, and I will also send them out via email as well. So let's go to your guys' page. And we go to entities we examine, counties, scroll down. Oh, look, you can see Mike and me, we're still here. the county offices, but I wanted to go through things on the county's page before I go to anything else. Me and Mike have been so busy reading manuals and updating them so that they're useful for you guys, okay? So I think the auditor's manual has been 23 or 24 years out of date. So Lori completely rewrote that manual, and we're in the process of getting it finally reviewed. But I have also rewritten the county's general manual. So that one is going to have a major facelift, and hopefully it comes out within the next couple of weeks, if not month or so. But this is where you can find the county's manual under our uniform compliance guidelines section. So it's one of the first ones under the overview. When you look under manuals, obviously, internal controls. If you guys didn't get enough at conference of us saying it, you can go read this very long manual that we've published. It's a good one. So go read it, in your downtime. But then we also have county's general manual. So right now it has chapter 1. So chapter 1 is our uniform chapter that Mike went over. So this is actually the most updated version of the manual now, like he kind of talked about. It has the sections for reference, like 1.01. So if you want to go look at anything that Mike discussed during conference, it's live now on the website, okay? So that's there. Right now, the county's general only has county health department and county parks department, okay? The updates I made to the manual, I have parks department, I have health department, I have added a sheriff's chapter. I have also added drainage. Drainage will now be in this manual. How many of you love reading drainage? I had to read the whole thing, like twice. Did I fall asleep? No. I got through it, but it took a whole day because I was like, this is just so cumbersome. Yeah, it's draining. There you go. That's a good one. I love that. It was draining in a bad way. But so, no, I have reworked that, re-looked at it. I've tried to update some of the verbiage, so hopefully whenever it comes out, it's maybe a little bit easier to read and understand. That's my hopes, and it has more information for you guys as well. So please look out for those updates coming soon. The other big thing that I want to touch on is state examiner directives. Okay, so these live in the resource library. We used to have them all linked here, so if for some reason you want to look at any state examiner directives, this will direct you back to the resource library, but I want you guys to know where those live. Internal control standards. So you guys are aware in 511-127, again, it's a very long statute. It establishes the internal control standards that should be adopted by your guys' counties. This is just my time to say I really hope you adopted those internal control standards and that you have ordinances and resolutions adopting those and you have policies and procedures set in place. If for some reason none of this sounds familiar, just go back and investigate and make sure that you have done that, okay? Because this is something that we are seeing written up very frequently during audits. Hold on, didn't mean to do that. It jumped on me. Did you know, how many of you have watched it recently? Yeah, did you notice it's a new video? Yes, it's a new video. I think it was before January. So if you watched January, you probably watched the new video. I think it's like 2 minutes shorter, but I know you guys were complaining about how boring the other one is. So don't say I didn't give you anything. There's a new video. If you'd like to go watch it, I think it's only 23 minutes. So it doesn't have me in it. I know you're sad. So you won't see me nor hear my voice. I think it's created by AI, but I mean, it has pretty pictures and stuff like that. It's better than the old video, okay? So that has been updated for you guys as well. I just wanted to draw your attention to that. Bulletins. So this is where you will find the updated bulletin. So right now we only have March. We will be getting June 26s out soon. That's Mike's job. So, I was like, you're doing that. Let me see. And if you guys didn't know, if you didn't read, did you notice that we have a new header on our bulletins? Like, it's pretty now, okay, guys? I don't want to entice you and give too much away, but the June's going to be great. Just kidding. It's going to look just like this. Just say County Bulletin, June, okay? With new content in it. I can only make accounting so exciting, okay? Let me see what else. Oh, I know you guys are going, thank God she didn't talk about corrective action plans. Don't worry, I have that planned for fall, okay? I didn't want to do it 2 times a year. So in fall, we are going to talk about repeat comments that we found during this audit cycle for 2025. And then I'm also going to go into our repeat comments. I'm probably going to make you guys interact with me a lot. I know you're going to not have fun, but I will. So that's all that matters. So please, I can't wait for fall to talk about caps and internal controls with you. But in the meantime, as your audits go through and you have repeat comments, I wanted to let you guys know that on the county's webpage, we have our guidelines, how to submit a cap, the template, the instructions. And if you guys have questions about your corrective action plans, you can email cap@sboa.in.gov, okay? So does anyone have current questions on caps? Because now caps have automated emails that go out to you guys. How many of you have gotten any of those? Because it's going, hey, we haven't heard from you. Hey, you haven't submitted a corrective action plan. And I know you guys are busy, okay? You guys are totally busy. And I have been working, so on our CAP team, his name is Anthony Woods. He fields most of the emails that come in through that CAP inbox. And he works very closely with Mike and I and the other directors, trying to make sure that your guys' corrective action plans that you turn in will actually fix your problems. Because sometimes you don't know how to fix your problem. And if you don't know how to fix your problem, and Anthony's like, hey, I think this corrective action plan's kind of missing the mark, I don't have a problem scheduling a call with you guys. I've actually done that with a couple counties in this room because either the auditor or the treasurer keeps getting a comment and they can't get rid of it. And they're like, we don't know how to fix it. Because again, our field staff are there to perform the audit. They should be explaining the comments to you, and you should have a valid understanding of what is going wrong before they leave. If you keep asking and you still don't understand what's being done wrong, please reach out to Mike or I. I don't have a problem contacting the field staff, reading the comment, and saying, okay, what are they doing wrong? Like, the comment's not telling me what they're doing wrong. So what are you seeing? And then kind of bridging the gap and talking to you guys on and figuring out how to fix it. I'm not doing the audit work, so I can brainstorm with you guys on actually how to fix it and maybe some possible alternatives and things like that. So I just want to offer that. That's something that we do, and we want to know you guys to know that we're there for you. So let me see. Look, you can report losses to the unit again. Okay, so let me go to the auditor's page real quick. There's only a couple things that I want to show you. So when the new uniform compliance guidelines drop, they will be in this manuals section, because this is the section where you guys find your manuals, okay? Everything that has to do with your office. And look, the last time it was updated was 2002. So that's a pretty old manual. Some of that stuff doesn't apply, and there's Indiana codes that have been repealed. So we have a new updated version. We're just waiting on getting it finally released to you guys. The other thing that we're working on our website, so this presentations and training materials, it makes you think something's going to be there. It's not. It just links you back to the resource library, okay? We have internal control standards again. How many of you utilize our chart of accounts constantly? Oh, come on, there should be more hands. Do you guys not have these printed? I keep a printed copy on my desk that when you guys go fund and you just say the number, and I'm like, do you think I know that number? And I'm like, hold on one moment. Flip, 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 flip. And then I'm like, yes, I see what you're talking about as I'm typing in the IC code on IGA. And I'm like, yes, this is this statute. Let's discuss. Then it makes it sound like I really know what I'm doing. No, I print this chart of accounts. I keep it on my desk at all times, and I actually carry around a copy with me in my bag because you guys love to just say numbers to me. And I'm like, why are we talking in numbers? And I'm like, 1, 2, 3? Yeah, I know what you mean. So then that does happen, okay? So I just wanted to point that out to you guys that we have 2 versions of this. My favorite version is this one that's in order by fund number. This is my absolute favorite one because it has the IC references for every single statutory fund. And then for those that are not statutory, we have descriptions for what these funds should be, okay? So it's my first go-to. This is where I live most days, is right here. Let me see, what else? This other version of the chart of accounts, it's in alphabetical order. So it's like, oh, these fund numbers aren't in any order. However, they're in order by, I believe, general fund is made to be first, and then it filters by alphabetical, by fund name. And then it tells you what type of funds, if there's sub-accounts, the function of the fund, things like that. So these are both 2 very good resources that I think sometimes people forget about. Okay. You guys love our website. I'm aware. Now we're going to go to the IGA's website. Is there anything else you guys want to know how to find? Or want to know if there's something on our website? I know that this feels like the same stuff I talk about every year, but I can't tell you how many times I'm going, hey, did you know that's on our website? And they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, it is. Do you want me to tell you where it's at? I'll send you a link. And I do that a lot. Okay, so on the Indiana General Assembly's website, this is just our homepage. So when you type in iga.in.gov, this is what will pull up. And the thing that I do the most with this is I search IC codes. So I don't know if I didn't explain that. I just clicked stuff. So you click the little search bar. Okay, you can search by topic here. This isn't helpful to me. Most of the time I kind of know where I want to be in statute anyway. So I do a search IC code. Then it gives you the title, article, chapter, and section. And so you know what the one I have most frequently is this one. And I don't know if you can guess it. It's in Title 6, Article 1.1. Does anyone know what section I'm going to? Property taxes. Yeah, this is a doozy, okay? So then I'm like, oh, what's the next section? See, we're just going to guess. 37 is the chapter. And then 15. Does anyone know what this is before I even click send? Just wait for it. Penalties and waivers. You want to know why? I don't know how many phone calls I get around property tax time and after saying, you need to waive my property tax penalties. And me? I go, State Board of Accounts? Like me. Yes, they told me to call you. I go, who's they? And they're like, the auditor's office. Or they'll go, the treasurer's office. And I go, oh, did they? And I go, did they? And they go, yeah, they told me to call you. And I said, what did they say that I would do for you? And they're like, you dismiss everything. I don't have that power. And so I pull up the statute and I read to them and I was like, you need to talk to the county about what policy they've adopted, if any, to waive those property taxes. And then they're like, but they said, and I'm like, I'm aware that you think they said that, but I cannot do anything. We're a reporting agency. And then I'm like, click. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very nice. It depends on what time of day. Mike has learned that if it's around 3:30, I'm like, gotta go. And I'm like, I can't. You're gonna have to call Scotty, you know? And so, no, but I listen to them, but I'm like, no, I can't help you. This is outside of my power, and statute says this. And I give this IC to them all the time. I don't know how many times I've emailed this to a citizen because they're like, that's not what that says. And I'm like, no, I can read. That's what it says. So you need to go back to them, see if they've adopted a policy, and if they haven't, then you pay the penalties and the property or and the interest, whatever's on it. I said, or they can waive it. But things have to be met, and this is outside of my ability. So let's see. One of my other favorite ones, since we're just playing games now, see if you can guess this one. You guys see what I'm doing? Okay, we're in Title 5. Article 11. Do you know where I'm going? 10. Or no. Yeah. 10. 1.6. Do you know what this one is?
I know what it is.
What is it, Mike?
It's the claim statute.
It is. Because you know how many times I get calls that go, what? That doesn't need to be on a claim. And I go, you want to bet it doesn't need to be on a claim? I'm not this sassy. You guys know I'm really nice on the phone. Some people have said that I have a really weird angelic phone voice. Like I sound like a completely different person. I'm like, that's fact. That's my other personality. She's quite kind. But the second I get off the phone, don't even know who she is anymore, okay? So when you go down to C of this statute, it tells you about the fiscal officer. Again, you guys already know this, but I give this to you guys all the time, and I give it to department heads and things like that, because when your department heads come back and they tell me, like, hey, I submitted all this stuff, and I was like, well, they need all this stuff to certify the claim, and if your claim's not complete, they can't do their job. And this is what they need to do their job. However, the last thing, number 5, under C5, that is regarding the commissioners, about the approval. Because sometimes there's lots, again, this is a statute I pull up almost every single day. So is this helping? Yes, Chris, see, I know you wanted this. So what else do you want to know how to find on here?
I could yell loud, but can you go backwards?
Yes.
Because I don't know the IC code. So like if I wanted to look up this information, where would I go? What would I type to get that IC code to get there? Because I'm not a...
So we're saying I don't even know. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
You could try to start here, and you could start to do claims, okay? However, I want to do, see, I hate searching this way. And Mike, do you have a better way to search? Because I think you got to go all the way down here under bills.
That's where I hit, and I'm like, okay, it's easier just to email you. And that's what I do.
Fair. No, guys.
And I'm trying to be more
I
efficient.
love
like,
that.
This
and
has to be okay. I'm not.
No.
I mean, I'm.
Honestly, you only know where you live sometimes, and you know where you live. You know, you're like, I'm just going to call her. And that's totally good. I love when you guys call me, because asking me what the IC code is literally the easiest part of my day, and I wish every question was like that, okay? It's when you guys ask the really bad ones, I'm like, stop calling me. Don't ask me that. But if you ask me an IC code, that's totally good. Mike, I don't know how you find things, but typically I poke around.
And I will tell you, this is maybe embarrassing for me to admit. So the tool you use, most lawyers use, will be Westlaw or LexisNexis. You learn how to use these tools when you're in law school to find statutes, cases, other things like that. So it's like an online law library. But literally, if I don't have a particular statute saved in my favorites in Westlaw, I mean, this is the embarrassing part, I will often start with Google. Right? I'll say
I do
hey,
that too.
Tell me all of the
Okay.
statutes that talk about wheel tax in Indiana, and then I will write them all down, and then I will go onto IGA's website or onto Westlaw, and I will read them all.
I feel better that Mike just said that, because I didn't want to admit that that's what I do, but I'm like, Google, where do I start? That's what I would recommend, because I don't think searching on here is effective. Start with Google. Narrow down. Mike, thank you for admitting it first. And I'm like, I agree with him. That's exactly what I do. And you know what else I do? Copilot. She's a smart broad, but she's wrong sometimes, okay? So I would just say AI, we use it as a tool. We don't rely on it, people, okay? We're not going to rely on it to be 100% valid. However, I think it is a great way to start to find something. Okay, I will say that, because I want to say, I'll admit this to you guys, because treasurers love to ask us about mobile homes, and literally when Michael and I are sitting next to each other and someone goes, mobile homes, we're both like, yeah. And because they asked us something about how it goes through the BMV, and I'm like, I do not know. So we started with Copilot and Google and tried to figure out. And then by the end of that, we were able to come up with a relatively good process based on, we used so many different AI features to get an actual process that lined up. And we were like, yep, we figured that out and we got them the answer they wanted and where they need to go to find it. And I think we were right. But that took a minute to get there. So we Google first, Chris. Narrow down, then start doing the IC searches. That's what I would recommend because honestly, I don't like this tool at all on here. Okay, like this one? This one.
Yeah, search. Nope. Go back to where you put the IC code in.
Oh, so you want the IC search.
Yeah. Okay, over there in the search, just put claims.
Oh, it searches here?
Yeah.
That's smarter. Ah, I knew. Okay, thank you. See, look, Chris, she helped us figure out our problem. But I don't think it narrows down enough for you. I guess you can go settlement claims. Okay, I'm not Marion County. I can keep going down through here. This is a very long scroll, though. But this is helpful because I think it pulls every single time claims is mentioned. So thank you for that. I just learned something today. Yeah, yeah, do you want to scroll through the rest of them? I mean, we have 2 minutes. So I'm just kidding. No. The last thing I wanted to show you guys, and again, I don't know how you guys follow new legislation or if you wait until like Mike comes and talks about new legislation. I don't know your process. But what I typically do is when I go to legislation and I look at bills, like for Senate Bill 92, so this was everything that was in session in 2026. This is everything. If you want to go to just active ones that actually passed, you can filter by active, and you can scroll down through the ones that actually are like actually passed, the bill's been signed, everything like that. And then I'm just going to select Senate Bill 92 because when the statute is not yet updated on the IGA's website, you need to go pull the bill and you need to pull the latest version of the bill. And this will give you, again, Mike is much better at reading this than I am, but I know that the bold is the new stuff. So this is where I see that there's a new chapter added and it shows me all the new sections of this chapter that have been included in here. And it shows you just everything that I went through in my presentation, where I got my resources, because it's not yet on the IGA's website. However, this is the final bill, okay? So that's just something, if you're bored later. Oh, yes. Okay, so sorry. Here, let me go back because I kind of did it and I didn't tell you. Okay, so you want to go to legislation and you want to go to bills. Once you click bills, then you have the list of everything that happened during session. You want to click active. You can scroll down, select your bill. So I'm going to select Senate Bill 92. Then there's all of these things off to the side that you can look at. The only one I concern myself with is the latest version of the bill because this is the signed version. And then this will have the whole bill that you can read. I was going to go through the fiscal notes. Yes, that was my next thing that I was going to do. So the bill pops up in its own PDF that you can read and look at. You go back to the bill itself, and then latest fiscal note. Like Jackie said, I rely heavily on this thing because I have no idea how a bill could impact you unless I go look at this. So this is something that is completed and talks about any like fiscal impact that it has to state and local government. So you can read through this whole thing. It gives you a summary of the legislation, kind of telling you what it does, how it's going to impact it. But if you scroll down here to the bottom, you can go explanation of local expenditures. So nothing happens at the state level for expenditures or revenues. However, there's expenditures at the local level. several paragraphs on that. And then this talks about no revenues, what agency it affects, and then the local agencies that are affected, so the community corrections programs. This gives me a lot more information because whenever I read a bill, I can read it, but I don't know how it's going to financially impact you guys, and that's kind of how Mike and I prepare for presentations, because if there is financial impact, we need to know how it's going to impact you guys, because if it's new revenue, if it's new expenditures, we need to know how to implement that. Okay, that's all I have. I'm over time. Was that helpful? Okay, again, we learn together. We will see you guys tomorrow at 9 o'clock, but I think Jen is going to take over, so Mike and I are going to get out of here. Bye, guys. Thank you. Sorry I went over.
No, you're perfectly fine. It's not mine, yeah. Before everyone takes off, we are going to do our gifts and stuff. So if your deputies are in the room, you're going to want to stay. You have to be present to win. The association board members are going to be bringing those up. We'll take care of those first, and then we'll dismiss. Just make sure when you do leave, you take everything with you. The room will be flipped to round tables before our dinner tonight.